It is Friday, October 3rd, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by Mountain Dew. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well as we have arrived safely through the wild card round, and what a wild ride it was. How you hanging in there?
I'm doing great. I mean, 3 elimination games on one day. It's kind of a lot emotionally,
It is.
but I thought we got some good games and some good baseball and some good stories. We'll talk about them here. I know that you're feeling indifferent right now about the Guards.
Not
Happy to be
indifferent.
here, happy to be there. Now you get to go on vacation.
No, I don't know if indifferent's the right word, but yeah, we'll get to that. That'll be our story coming up in just a bit. But let's start with the New York Yankees, who became the first team in the modern wild card era to lose game one at home in a best of three and still take the series. The rookie Cam Schlittler, we're going to break down his performance. Incredible. 8 shutout innings, a dozen strikeouts. It's one of the greatest performances ever by a rookie. In the meantime, New York takes care of business against Boston.
Yoshida will take second. This one is popped up. McMahon. And the Yankees have completed step one on their way back to a World Series.
Honestly, going into the night, for me personally, like it felt like as pressure-packed game as I've ever been in. As a player, manager, that's World Series games. That's clinching to go to the World Series game, just because it's like, man, the context in my brain of like what I think our team is. A great opponent, a storied opponent, here, down one. Boys answered the bell and played great baseball these last couple days.
I mean, that's saying something from a guy who did it as a player, hit a freaking walk-off homer to send the Yankees to the World Series after beating Boston. That's pretty significant stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a pressure-packed game. He didn't really elaborate too much about why he thought other than, yeah, we have a really good team and we think we should be moving on. I know it's Red Sox Yankees, but I mean, any winner take all game is going to be pressure packed, and I don't know. It was awesome to see.
It was. And so let's start with the story of this entire series, and that's Cam Schlittler, who in his 15th big league appearance just mowed down his hometown team. He grew up a Red Sox fan. His dad is still a police chief up in the area, and he went to Northeastern. So this is a big deal for him. He's got plenty of buddies all over the place. Here is the rookie after that gem.
I woke up and I was locked in. So I knew exactly what I needed to do and go out there, especially against my hometown team. So as I told Andy yesterday, I wasn't going to let him beat me. So I was just overconfident in that fact, but making sure I wasn't getting too carried away with it.
What did you see out of him that made him so dominant?
Poise, and honestly, like the extreme confidence. Like you said, I woke up locked in. I mean, he didn't say I woke up, man, like I was pretty nervous. Like, and sometimes you guys will say that and you won't believe him, but like he really did just look like he had a mission and he accomplished it. And the stuff was so good. I said before the show, I was like, the Yankees just fun. This guy looks like a new Garrett Cole. Out of nowhere, 7th rounder, was in Double-A to start the year. All of a sudden, he's got 12 Ks, no walks in this game. I mean, that's the epitome of locked in. You pitch into I don't know, man. It's pretty incredible, and my team doesn't do that often. We don't get just 7th rounders, that look like this. So I'm jealous. I think that's my main takeaway.
Well, whoever was able to develop him deserves a lot of credit because he was a guy that went from low 90s to blowing 100 cheese past these guys. And people could say whatever they want about Boston's lineup that, outside of Bregman, there's not like a ton of proven talent at this level. There just isn't. Trevor Story, I'll throw him in there as well. But that doesn't matter. That does not matter. It moved game 3, strap it up, ready to go. He was freaking incredible. Every time I turned around, I was like, wait. And let's do this too, please, for a second. If y'all are going to rip on Aaron Boone for taking Max Fried out at 102 pitches in game 1, let's give him a little credit for keeping him in the 8th inning when he probably could have pulled him. He was right around 100 pitches. I don't remember what his number was exactly, but he could have pulled him. So everybody that was ripping on Aaron Boone after game 1, let's give him a little love. And don't pull this bullshit. oh, well, this is what the Yankees are supposed to do. Well, you got to give him some. If you're going to yell at him when the meal's shitty, give him some credit when he gives you a 5-star.
And Rodon was in there for a while too, so he definitely learned his lesson.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to rip on managerial decisions. This is what we do. Like, they're going to get criticized. We'll get to Alex Cora in a second and leaving in his rookie probably too long there in the 4th. But just overall, how great was Cam Schlittler? A lot of our listeners are not going to remember this name, but I certainly do from my childhood. A guy named Mike Boddicker, who wowed us in 1983 when the Orioles made their World Series run. He and Schlittler are the only 2 rookies to throw at least 7 innings and have double-digit strikeouts in their playoff debut. Pretty damn good. By the way, Boddicker.
Yeah, who was this again? Say his name again.
His name is Mike Boddicker. He was a pretty good pitcher. I mean, he had a 12 to 14-year career, won over 130 games or so back when wins used to mean something. But I went back and looked at his line last night because I remembered him. I think he was the ALCS MVP that year. He threw a complete game shutout. It was only a best of 3, I believe, against the White Sox that year in the ALCS. And that was the only playoffs they had before the World Series. He then came and threw a complete game in the World Series as they beat the Phillies as well. So he had 2 starts, 18 innings, and freaking threw 2 complete games, including a 140-pitch complete game.
That's insane.
Yeah. Pretty good. Ryan McMahon. Once again, it made sense to put him in there. Defensive replacement after Ahmed Rosario started and got a big hit. Dude, I thought he died.
He went hard for that. There was no stopping him. And if you have a beat on the ball and you're saying, I'm going to catch this no matter what, you really don't care what happens to you, especially in that moment. And the flip and everything was perfect. And yeah, he came out like pretty much unscathed, which was
incredible,
shocking. But I mean, yeah, he's not in there to make plays like that, I guess, but he can make plays like that. And I think that's going to be something that we'll, touch on as the Yankees continue in the postseason, is having that guy in. Like, what are the decisions going to be with Boone and him going forward against, a lefty? Like, I feel like you got to have someone like that on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, he's so good over there. And Ahmed Rosario is not, but he can still swing the stick. I was thinking about you during that play because you don't see a lot of third basemen come in with that speed. Usually it's kind of like a measured movement, right? Like Moustakas a bunch of years in the playoffs. Remember when he went over the railing at Kauffman Stadium? It was kind of like go, go, go. This was like a full sprint and go do a head flip.
Yeah, I guess he's played a fair amount of games in Yankee Stadium, but sometimes you kind of forget the elements or the field and how it plays. In a moment like that, he was going to catch that ball no matter what.
All right, let's get to the only run-scoring inning of the entire thing, right? The Yankees put a 4 spot up in the 4th, and early looked so good those first 3 innings. I was like, God dang, man, we are in for it with these 2 rookies. Then you had the leadoff double by Bellinger, which Rafaela said he should have had. He kind of misplayed it, and Abreu said it was so loud we couldn't communicate. And then it felt like the Boston defensive inning, and to the Yankees' credit, once again, you put the ball in play, good things are going to happen. They did have a couple of hits that were 95 miles an hour plus, and then a couple of bleeders, which is what you need at this time of year. And I bet you the Red Sox are going to look back at that inning and say it was the almost inning. Like, like that's a play you're like, gosh, we got to at least get an out there, and they couldn't.
Yeah, that one to me, the Nathaniel Lowe ball as well.
Yeah.
It's what makes or breaks a game, especially
Yes.
in this situation. You put up a 4 spot, it's hard to come back from that. I mean, the way the Schlittler looked and, the understanding the pressure in that situation after going down 4. I mean, this play right here, it's just a bad angle. He started his back angle way too late. It had to be from the first step right there. Keep the ball in front of you, get the out at first base. And then this one, Lowe just never put himself in a good position to field that ball.
No, that wasn't any good at all. Well, Alex Cora's got to wear it. Well, certainly I questioned him removing Bayo after just 28 pitches in game 2 because I felt like he was the one that was managing from behind. Some people questioned my questioning of it. And then to not have anybody ready when you're a rookie who's making his 5th major league start where the wheels start spinning, he said, listen, it got kind of out of control quickly, which it did. It felt like it went from 0 to 60. But that's your job. I mean, you've got to have guys on standby. This is the season.
They showed a graphic of how many pitches the relievers had thrown the night before, and it was just like, yeah, I agree with your take, especially in hindsight. Like, hey, man, you wasted a lot of bullets in that second game. And then here it comes. You do have a rookie pitching. Like, you got to have, like, they're in that bullpen, guys are going to understand they're going to be up and down many times throughout a game. If I'm a manager, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're going to be up and down. We need guys ready at the jump if something goes wrong, especially like in a situation like that. And they just didn't have it. They didn't have the guys to do it, and he didn't have that communication. I agree, man. In a win or go home game, you just can't, like, it's a quick pull. Game 2, agreed, not a quick pull, especially after going up 1-0.
You know what the best part of this series was for the Yankees? That Aaron Judge turned into Luis Ariz, and they still won it.
Lost singles.
Right? I mean, he got 4
Yeah, but that's
singles.
good going forward.
It's great for them. It's great for them. And we'll talk about the next series coming up in just a bit. So the Yankees move on. The Red Sox are going home. And as you know, there's nothing better than ripping packs during October baseball. That's right. Arena Club. It's a new way to grade, collect, invest, sell, and trade cards. It's all online. Here's how it works. Rip an Arena Club slab pack where you're guaranteed to get one real graded card instantly revealed. Now, once you have your card, instead of hiding it in your shoebox or in your closet, you can share and display it in your personal online showroom, or use Arena Club's online marketplace to get instant offers based on market value. No guessing, no waiting. With 3 specialty drops each week, you could rip anything from rookies to superstars like Judge or Ohtani. Arena Club is the place to start your collection or level it up with transparency, safety, and grails you won't find anywhere else. Chase your own grails at arenaclub.com/ and get 20% off your pack with the code JOHNBOY. So go do that today. Come on now. All right. Let's move on, right? Cubs and Padres. Boy, did it get dicey in the 9th inning. Brad Keller was out there trying to continue this amazing story of his career renaissance, and things got a little sideways, let's just say. In the end, they're saying, go Cubs, go to Milwaukee.
First pitch swinging from in into center. Pete Armstrong on a 3-hit day. Makes the catch. The Chicago Cubs are going to head up 94.
It never gets old. This is awesome. I mean, played a good series, really good defense, great pitching, timely hitting. I mean, all in all, really good series.
What's it like for you to move on?
Special doing it here, special doing it in front of this crowd. Like Carr said, in the playoffs, you just got to do enough, and we did enough.
That was Ian Happ before that, the catcher Carson Kelly. Do you want to start right in the end? Do we want to start in the 9th inning?
We can. I just shook my head at that Pete Armstrong, 2nd and 3rd right there, catching the ball at his chest. Like,
I know,
if you're young,
right?
don't do that. Get it above your head. It scares me. Guys do that all the time. I'm like, stop doing that.
Dude, Ricky Henderson was famous for the snatch. Do you remember him doing that?
Yeah, it gives me it gives me anxiety, Chris. I'm like, if you do this and you drop the ball, like, oh. He caught it though.
He did. And he got him on the board first, too.
Yeah, he did.
We talked about that, how important that was. All right, let's go to the 9th. So it's 3-0, and Keller's on to try and close it out. And Jackson Merrill clicks him, so it's just 3-1. Now you get to Xander Bogaerts, and we get to a full count. He thought he had maybe walked on a 3-1 pitch. It wasn't. It was a strike. And then we get to this. It looks low. Bogaerts thought it was low. He gives it the jump, the startled jump. He gets in DJ Rayburn's face, who actually had been very good, I thought, until the 9th inning. Mike Schiltz coming in. There's not. Here's Bogaerts afterward.
Messed up the whole game, I mean, can't go back in time and talking about it now won't change anything. So it was bad, and thank God for ABS next year, because this is terrible. Yeah, there was some good games, man. I mean, a 9th inning, maybe help from the umpire, instead of looking to bring in guys, maybe some help from them. That would be nice.
I'm not laughing at him. It was just the way he said it. So instead of having one on and nobody out, and that place in a tizzy, nobody on and now one out, and Keller ends up hitting back-to-back hitters. Could you imagine if the bases are loaded and nobody's out and they have to either go to their game 1 starter, Matthew Boyd, who's getting loose, or their game 2 opener in Andrew Kittredge? It's just, I felt bad.
I mean, if you're on the Cubs side, you say, "Hey, man, that's just baseball."
Right.
Like, you're gonna
That's
get
baseball.
calls one way or the other. If you're on the Padres side, you want to throw up. I mean, he completely lost it after that, Keller did. And you're right, man. Bases loaded, no outs. What drama that would have been, but I don't even know how I feel about it. I'm mad. I want the right calls, and that is why ABS is coming in. If that would have happened in the second inning, it's different. But when it's the last half inning of your season, it means a lot more. And we saw what happened in the dugout afterwards, which is a crazy visual.
And it's just crazy that the umpires still go through a handful of dugouts. I was trying to remember which ones. I mean, this is, for people that haven't seen this is crazy. I mean, the umpires have to get to their clubhouse because Wrigley Field opened in 1914 or whatever. This is the way that could have gotten way worse.
They used to have to do it in Cleveland. I don't know if they still do.
No, I don't think they do.
Oh, I remember yelling a few times. Toronto's another one where they still do, I believe.
Where they go through the dugout?
Toronto, I know for sure. Cleveland, maybe I'm misremembering that, but yeah, it's and look, man, like for the most part, it's fine, and you say what's up, and it's like not a big deal. But like in a time like that, when emotions are flying high, like there's the reason they're just like, I guess those are security guards. I don't know who those guys are around them.
I mean, for God's sakes, we send an entire Army brigade around SEC football coaches at the end of games just to go shake hands with the other coach. Here, we can't even
those
get
guys are making a lot of money.
Yeah, they're very valuable commodities, those guys, because they mean a lot to what we're doing in this world.
What if DJ Rayburn just gloves down? Let's go. Who wants some?
Yeah, it's just, look, I didn't care who won. I just wanted to see good baseball, and I hate that this is the first thing we're talking about, but because that's what everybody's talking about, let's get it. But here's the deal. The first half of the season, when I watched the Cubs and felt like they were going to win the NL Central, and they didn't end up doing that, was because that offense was freaking on fire. Here they scored 6 runs in 3 games, and they held on. Like, using Palencia in the middle of the game in games 1 and 3, fantastic. 3 scoreless innings. That bullpen was outstanding, and I didn't know that would be the narrative I would take away from a wild card series win for them.
That's how it goes, man. In the playoffs, guys just step up. What's interesting is this Keller, does he remain the 9th inning guy? He didn't do it a lot in the regular season.
Yeah.
Palencia, now you've put him in this role as the fireman. And do you keep it that way after what you saw in the 9th? It's got to be a topic of discussion within the coach's room.
And Kittredge, the thing is, how amazing is it? Kittredge pitches out of the pen in game 1, opens game 2, and finishes game 3. We talked about how slow his delivery is. And against the Milwaukee Brewers, in a 1-run game, if they have a lead, you cannot be slow to the plate because they will eat your lunch if they got somebody on base. So there's a lot going on. Like, when you move your closer to the middle of the game, it's awesome. It's great. But if you then have a guy who's either not in familiar territory or has a deficiency like Kittredge does with his delivery, it could end up biting you somewhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to watch. You heard Carson Kelly talk about it. The defense for the Cubs is so good, particularly up the middle. Swanson, Horner both made huge plays. Pete Crow, even though he didn't love the way he caught the ball to end the series, he still is a devil. Like, this is why part of the reason Dansby Swanson got the contract that he did.
Oh, he performed so well there, and they all did. You're right, and it's like it felt like every time the Padres got something going or put a good swing on a ball, it was just in the glove of a Cubs defender, or the rally gets put out by a double play, and they look pretty, and they're always in the right position. It is that alone. When you get a couple of those, it just deflates your offense. You're like, dude, is there 15 guys playing defense right now? It really feels like that sometimes when you're in the box, and that is going to have to continue if the Cubs want to go far in the postseason.
They're going to have to swing it a little bit better too,
right?
They're going to. And now the nice thing was, I thought Kyle Tucker actually took some really good swings in this series. I thought that, and they have the ability to keep him at DH and put Seiya in right field. It's not great for them, but the guy's got a bad calf, so you got to do what you can. He's got to continue to do that. A couple of solo homers here and there, I don't think it'll do it in the next round against the Brewers.
Yeah.
The Cubs can feel good about where they are. And that place was electric. It was fun to see it. They win a series for the first time since 2017. It's good for them. And we're talking about a couple of cities that are, 100 miles away from one another or whatever it is. Listen, for somebody that lived through this in Game 7 of the World Series, and I saw a lot of Clevelanders sell their tickets to Cubs fans, Brewers, you damn well have to do whatever you can to make sure that you hold on to those tickets this weekend. Don't give them up.
I mean, I just saw the 49ers fans take over SoFi last night. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's move on over to the American League. And it is time right now for our Like a Bosch Player of the Week, brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. Just like Bosch Power Tools, this player got the job done through hard work, grit, and determination. And at the plate, it didn't start great for Dylan Dingler. But man, oh man, when they needed him most, dude shows up. Kid who grew up about 50 miles from Cleveland, Ohio, rooting for the Indians/Guardians back in the day. Jim Thome was his guy. He hit the go-ahead homer in the 6th off of Joey Cantillo. He also had that amazing throw against Jose Ramirez that nabbed him in a 1-1 game to finish a rally as well. And so for Dingler, a guy who had been 0 for 9 at that point, man, oh man, you never know when those storylines are going to be written, dude.
Yeah, I feel like in this series, maybe like besides Jose Ramirez or maybe a Riley Green, whoever got the big hit was going to be like the unlikely hero. There was a lot of those out there in this series. No, he looked great. You mentioned the throw. That was incredible. Again, putting out rallies is the name of the game in the postseason. He surely did that.
Yeah, so today's episode, it's sponsored by Bosch. When you pick up a Bosch power tool, it makes you feel empowered and confident and appreciated no matter what job lies ahead. You're simply going to crush it. As a global leader for power tools, measuring tools, and accessories, Bosch's innovative product solutions, they're built with quality engineering and precision in mind. The assortment of products ensures that you have the right tools in your toolbox to tackle a variety of tasks with relative ease. Bosch's 18-volt battery platform powers numerous tools, creating a consistent energy home base that keeps the brand's family of tools running. Like your favorite players on the field, Bosch Power Tools make sure you're powered up, ready for anything that gets thrown your way, because the more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. Head on over to BoschTools.com today to learn more about the power tools you need to get the job done right. And so we'll continue on with this AL Central battle where, of course, the Guardians made some history. They erased a 15.5 game deficit to win the division, but the Tigers take down the wild card.
Remarkable season of comebacks. The Guardians are down to their final strike. Schneemann rolls it down to first. Torkelson will play it himself. And the Detroit Tigers are on to the American League Division Series.
For most of the season, we were one of the best teams in baseball, and then we kind of lost our way for a minute. And it takes a lot of character to get back on track. And look what we're doing.
What's the best part of these campaign celebrations for you?
I mean, to me, it's an accomplishment that you have to earn. You know, no matter who you're playing, it's going to be a good team at this time of the year. So when you earn it, it feels that much better.
I thought the first part of what AJ said, the fact that we were able to get back on track, because I think a lot of people were questioning. It wasn't like they were playing a great team in Cleveland, but they were playing one that just got dominated down the stretch where they lost 5 out of 6 against them head to head. They were constantly heard about losing the division and everything else. I thought it did show a lot for them. And then in a game 3 on the road without Tarek Skubal throwing a pitch in their most meaningful game of the year, that they were able to get it done.
I guess that's a good point. I always, I've said for a long time, once the postseason starts or whatever it is, whatever the reset is, could be the second half, mentally everything kind of just changes. You're able to have that short memory and erase whatever was happening before, good or bad. Really, you got to do it. But without Skubal pitching, that's a good point, man, because that was, or maybe we give him credit for setting the tone in game one and kind of changing everything around. But I think that lull they had there, that's not even a lull, the collapse that they had there at the end of the season, that's in the rear view, man. Like, I don't think that matters one bit right now.
Not now, but it could have in the first round, because of, if they had been playing, let's say, Seattle in the first round, I don't think it would have mattered. But because it was just the team that you played 6 times in the last 2 weeks of the season, and it's the team that chased you down, I think that all adds up. Now, in the end, I actually think that part of the reason the Tigers won was because they played Cleveland so frequently at the end of the year. Cleveland's formula is a very thin margin of error, right? You get what you can out of the starters, and actually they gave you considerable length in the second half of the year, but then you turn it over to the rest of the bullpen, and even without Emmanuel Clase, you still have Cade Smith and you still have Hunter Gaddis, and those guys did not look nearly as dominant, and particularly working a third day in a row for Gaddis. They had seen him 7 times in 17 days, and you know this, Plouffe. You hear it from every hitter. The more we see a reliever, the more we can hone in on him.
Oh, it matters so much. The shapes, the tunnels, everything that you need, all the information that you can't get unless you're in the box for real. I mean, it's so key. Whatever traject system they have means nothing. If you're in the box facing a guy, you just get those little keys that can just help you. And yeah, that's a great point by you.
This series will set offenses back several centuries, in my opinion. It just wasn't very good. There were like 2 explosive innings, and I suppose you could say the same thing about the Cubs and the Padres. But these are 2 teams that just aren't great hitting teams. The Tigers were finally able to exercise some demons of weeks gone past, where they were able to get hit with runners in scoring position. Wenzel Perez, who I think had been 5 for 56, got an enormous hit. And by the way, Javier Baez, I don't know if I can say he's all the way back, but he was their offensive MVP in this series. He was putting together great at bats.
Yeah, he was getting the barrel to everything. You're right, and not just swinging freely and first pitching every single at bat. But that's, if the Tigers, you mentioned the offense, if the Tigers want to go far, they have to have those good at bats up and down the lineup, and he's a big part, because he's been there, he's done that. So as he goes, maybe the Tigers go, especially like mentally in that clubhouse. He can be the guy that leads them, as far as they can go in the playoffs.
We talked about Dylan Dingler and his throw. I do want to show this real quick on getting Ramirez, because Ramirez had just tied the game, picked a great pitch on a breaking ball. Dingler's throw was incredible.
So intern Sawyer, I don't know where you got this number. He said a 198 pop time. I've done it like 3 times, and I've got around 1.6 every single time.
Really?
So I don't know if that's like on Savant or something. That's wrong. I'm sorry, Google Statcast. You're freaking wrong. I've run it a bunch. 1.6, 1.58. Like, I know that's a crazy pop time, so maybe I'm a little off, but there's no way that's a 1.9.
No way. And then the other part where Vest came in to put out the fire in the 8th inning, and Ramirez hits the ground ball, and Vest goes over to cover, and Vest is a former shortstop, so he can really field his position. Ball like hit him in the neck. It gets away, goes right by the Tigers dugout, throws a seed to get Ramirez, originally called safe, clearly out, and it's one of the few times you'll ever see Jose Ramirez not run 100%. In between first and second, he kind of turned back, slowed down the whole bit. But the play by Vest here to make this throw is insane. For a pitcher to throw that good a ball from near his own dugout all the way to second base. I mean, we saw Skubal, he couldn't throw it from behind the pitcher's mound to home plate without making it look like a punt.
No, and that, I mean, it has to be perfect. If you go back, like, I want to go back to why he missed that ball. There's a couple of shots in this highlight where they show the right field stand. Right there, stop it. It's white as can be out there. See how bright it is?
Yeah.
So the ball is coming right out of that. He just lost it. Lucky to get hit in the face with that thing, but to recover here and to gather himself and to not like panic.
Jesus.
Yeah, he almost got hit in the face. Watch him like just gather, not panic, and he gets a good grip on it and just hammers that thing, dude. What a freaking throw. And then Baez is going to get the tag down on both Dingler's throw and that one. I mean, he's one of the best taggers in the game, if not the best tagger.
Right.
So he goes straight down. He lets the ball come to him, bam, bam. And it's weird to see Jose Ramirez get thrown out so much. It really
Hey, man,
is.
he got thrown out 3 times in this series. I didn't have a problem with one in game 1 at all. 0. I had no problem with him trying to steal in a 1-1 game. Picked a great pitch. Dingler made a great throw.
One.
The only problem on one of the replays, they showed that he throttled it down a little bit, and it is so not Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
He's going to be kicking himself. He was talking to himself in the dugout. They showed it afterward that he was talking to himself. But, the Tigers, I had them as the better team throughout the year. I picked them. They were my preseason selection to win the division. I thought that they were going to be the 1 seed throughout 60% of this year. They ended up winning a 3-game series. See how it goes for Seattle next round. It should be interesting. Playoff season's here. Whether you're at a watch party or a tailgate or hanging with friends after the game, nothing levels up those moments like the refreshing tropical lime kick of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Baja Blast. It's absolutely legendary, and it is now available everywhere. So grab a can or a bottle. Bring that tropical flavor to your next watch party. So this postseason, when you're hanging with friends, rooting for your favorite team, grabbing food late night after the game, or to fall tailgate, grab something that will really help tie it all together. It's Baja Blast. Don't wait. Grab Mountain Dew Baja Blast today and taste the tropical refresh that takes every occasion to the next level. Find it now at mountaindew.com/finddew. So now we move on to the divisional round. Rest or rust? That's the big question with all these series. Let's get started with the marquee event that gets going Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia. Dodgers, Phillies, Shohei, Sanchez. Our question, will LA's bullpen be the biggest story of this series, or will it be something else?
I know we keep going back to this bullpen, man. I don't know. For some reason, I'm like, they'll figure it out. Like it'll get going. Because every time I feel like in the playoffs over the last 5 years, when we've questioned a team's bullpen, they kind of come out and just, they pare it down to the hot hand and, they get the job done. So I don't know if we're going to be talking about them. I kind of hope we're talking about Bryce Harper. I keep going back to him and the lack of a ring and what he means to the game. And I think he's my favorite player right now. Like just the way he handles everything. And I know how much it means to him. Did I spend 2 weeks together as spring training teammates? Yes. But like even from afar, how much this game means to him. And look, the Dodgers won last year. Phillies are still in this window of competition with this great roster. I hope we're talking, man, Bryce Harper took over that series. It's like I don't really have a ton of rooting interest, but I think that would make me happy if we were talking about Bryce Harper having an incredible series here, slaying the dragon, all those things.
Here's what I'm rooting for. 5 games. That's what I'm rooting. I want to see. I think the Dodgers get a huge thank you to the schedule makers because of the off day in between 1 and 2, and then the off day in between 2 and 3. Like, this is enormous stuff because it allowed them to pitch Shohei, Snell, and Yamamoto and then circle back to Shohei on regular rest if it gets that far, and then Snell too. It's not that they necessarily need it because they do have Tyler Glass now, whom they haven't broken out of the in case of emergency, smash this thing open yet. To me, I do think it's going to be the bullpen one way or another. We're either going to be sitting here and saying, well, with the exception of Brock Stewart, you didn't do enough to repair your bullpen, or we're going to say that this new revamped bullpen, because I think Kershaw is going to make this roster. We don't know as of yet. They don't have to declare until Saturday. I think he'll be available. I think Glasnow will be available out of the bullpen as well. And I think that those 2 guys are going to be key to get the ball to Roki Sasaki, who's their newfound closer.
Can I give a little fan fiction?
Sure.
Because this might work out for both of us in these answers, the bullpen and Bryce Harper. Game 5. Roki Sasaki in to close it out against Bryce Harper. It's like the new age Ohtani Trout in the WBC.
Love that.
I'm
in.
Like, I'm in for that. 3-2, 2 outs. Like, can he do it? Like, that's what I want to see.
One other thing to keep your eye on, the return of Trey Turner. He got 2 at-bats in the last game of the season, but that's been it for the last month. We'll see how he's feeling. Yankees go to the Jays. They actually tied for the best record in the American League. Toronto won because of the tiebreaker win in the season series. Who's the better team right now?
If they were able to line up the starters, because right now, I mean, Fried, Rodon, and Schlittler look as dominant as any rotation in the big leagues right now. I mean, my goodness. If they were able to line that up, I would say the Yankees. But I think overall, I'll still go Blue Jays, and I'm not like super confident in that. I think the defense is going to be a difference maker. Blue Jays are probably the best defensive team in the big leagues, even more so than the Cubs. Yep. So that I think will come into play. I honestly am not too sure who the better team is. I think they're pretty evenly matched. They do different things better. If Aaron Judge shows up and starts slugging, then that totally changes the outlook of this series. So I think overall I'll give the slight edge to the Blue Jays, but I don't feel great about that.
I picked the Blue Jays, I believe, to advance in my bracket, but I think the Yankees are better. I know that's an odd answer, but I do. I think now here's the deal. They better go with Luis Gil in game 1. They have not specified yet. It's either going to be he or Will Warren. And Gil, he had one of his more interesting outings against the Blue Jays earlier this year. I think he only gave him 1 run in 6 innings, but he did walk 4 guys. And we know that he can get a little emotional. I think he's somewhat curtailed that in his repertoire, but big game, game 1, shortish series on the road in a place that's going to be jumping. Maybe that's the thing. They want a guy who's got a maybe slower heartbeat, but who knows? To me, the biggest deal is there's no way Bo Bichette's going to be on this roster. He was walking around in a knee brace the other day. He hasn't even moved to running or anything else. He's not playing. And people don't realize, like, remember in the beginning of the year, we were like, Bo Bichette doesn't have an extra base hit or a homer or whatever the hell we were talking about. Okay. Dan says I had the Yankees advancing. Okay. Well, then there you go. And I really do think that they're the better team. Here's the deal with Bichette. Did you see the type of year he had? He finished second in hits in Major League Baseball this year, even though he played less than 140 games. Second in hits. He didn't play the last 3 weeks of the year. I don't know. Blue Jays,
they crushed the Yankees this year. Am I right?
I think it was
6-1 against them.
I think it was 8-5, but in Toronto they won 6 of 7.
What did I just read a stat that was 6-1. Was that at Yankees?
Yeah, that was 6-1 in Toronto.
In Toronto, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that place is going to be
and
rocking, man.
The Yankees do kind of get to line up their pitching. Like they're going to get whoever they decide for the opening game, and then they get Fried, Rodon, Schlittler, correct?
Yeah. That's how it's going to go. Yes.
This is going to it's a very good series, a very good matchup here.
I told you all year, I worry about Jeff Hoffman and that home run ball in the playoffs. It would scare the hell out of me.
He loves hitting in Toronto as well.
Didn't he hit number 62 there? That's my alarm to go off. Oh, he hit 61 there? Okay.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so he does have a good history. That's going to be a fun series, man. Last thing I would say, Blue Jays with the lowest strikeout rate in baseball. Put it in play. That's a big deal. Keep your eye on that. All right. Cubs and Brewers. Milwaukee won the division by 5 games. Cubs, however, won the season series. Biggest key for the Brewers is they try to win a playoff series for the first time since 2018.
You can't just play small ball. I think they got to hit some homers in this series. I think that's what it is. If the power shows up, I think that they'll have the advantage. Or it's paramount in this series for them to have power and not just rely on small ball.
100%. Cubs hit 57 more homers than Milwaukee this season, but in their 13 matchups, Cubs only out-homered them 17-15. So as long as we keep it close, we know the stat that in these, in kind of the modern era of playoff baseball, if you will, the team that out-homers the other wins more than 80% of the time. We know it. It's pretty simple. The starting pitching is going to be fascinating because the Cubs, they're 3 starting pitchers, and I count Shota, even though there was an opener, as really a starting pitcher. He was the bulk guy. So to me, when you're talking about statistically, that's a starting pitcher. Boyd, Shota, Tyone, a little over 12 innings in those 3 starts. Now you're going to be able to do that through 5 games in a series. I think that Milwaukee's got to maybe take advantage of that. We'll see. But I think Milwaukee's going to play a similar game too. And how are they going to use Mizorowski?
I don't know.
What do you think they're going to do? Because he came out of the bullpen late in the year and had one game where it went sideways.
I wouldn't mind if they decided to Palencia him and say, hey, like, go put some fires out. I think he could do that. I think that might give him some confidence back and some, like, hey, you're our guy. Go do this. If he's got to stay around the zone for a job like that.
Interesting. Tigers and Seattle. We said it was a huge, huge advantage for Detroit to obviously have Skubal start in a 3-game series. What's Detroit's biggest challenge now in a 5-game set against the ALS champs?
Get it to game 5 so you get Skubal for that game, right? Isn't that it? If he throws 2 games in this series, I like the Tigers' chances.
Yeah. To me, it's just fine. They had 1 offensive inning against Cleveland. Yeah. That's not going to do it against Seattle in that lineup. That will not do it. They've got to continue. They had one huge thing in game 3. And other than that, it was kind of nickel and dime, and they left a ton of runners in scoring position, 15 of them in the game 2 loss. If you do that against Seattle, you're not going to have a chance. So find some offense. Who is their second best position player behind Riley Green? I was trying to figure this out.
Zach McKinstry?
No.
Torkelson? I don't think Torkelson is that much better than Zach McKinstry. I mean...
Oh, yeah, he is. He's a 30-homer guy, and he's really good defensively at first base, I think.
I don't know, Chris.
You don't care.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Is that where we are now? I love it. Okay, based on hundreds of millions of real-world tests, the experts at Ookla Speed Test, they have spoken. T-Mobile is now the best mobile network in America. So you can keep up with all the MLB postseason action from the ballpark, the backcountry, because T-Mobile's got the most advanced 5G, the most towers, and a signal that goes farther than ever. So whether you're streaming the game out and about, checking stats on the road, or experiencing ballpark perks with Magenta status, you're ready to stay connected wherever your fandom takes you. Head on over to T-Mobile.com/network to switch to the very best network around. All right, before we get out of here for the weekend, we're going to say goodbye to 4 wild card losers. This will be some quick stuff, but let's start with the Boston Red Sox. Came up a little bit short. The big question is, will it be one and done for Alex Bregman?
The future's bright. Obviously, this sucks right now. This is brutal. We envisioned winning tonight and making a deep run, but proud of the fight in the room, proud of the guys. It was an honor to put on this jersey.
Where do you think they are?
I think they're still in a good spot, Chris. I do. I don't know if they bring Bregman back or not. That would help their chances a ton. Aroldis Chapman, you got to bring him back as well. That would help their chances a ton.
Well, they did. They extended him by a year, remember?
They did?
Yeah.
When did I miss that?
Well, I think they Sawyer, just confirm that for me. I'm almost positive they extended him by a year.
That's one down. Okay. Bregman back, I think that's going to be hard, but if they do that, that's great. But they look, man, if Roman Anthony's in that series, it probably looks a lot different. So, a healthy squad. I know like everyone deals with injuries, but I still think they're in a good spot with their position players and their pitching.
Yeah, he did receive a 1-year extension, Aroldis Chapman, and Bregman can opt out of his 3-year deal that he signed in the offseason. You're right about Roman Anthony. Such a difference maker. They put him at the top of the lineup, and when they put him in, they just took off. So that was pretty good. Cleveland comes up short for the 77th straight year since 1948. I have to laugh or I will actually cry. Here's Stephen Vogt.
We're close. We are really close. We're not quite there yet. There's things we need to improve upon. There's things we need to get better with. But the overarching theme is just I'm so proud of that group for not quitting. They had every excuse, every reason thrown at them to quit at any point during this summer, and they refused to do that, even today.
Usually that's a lot of coach speak, like they never quit. They gave me everything they had. This is true about this team because they lost 10 row in July. They lost 9 of 10 in August. They had 2 players investigated for gambling. That's not losing 2 guys to injury. Like, hey, injuries happen as part of the game. That's 2 guys where they get yanked out of your clubhouse. They lose their lockers because they're being investigated for giving more of a shit about their bank accounts than they do about you. That's pretty disheartening stuff for a very young team. I'm really proud of it. I hate it that this team does not spend enough money coming off of an ALCS, and they have to nickel and dime their way through with a lineup. They put 4 guys in the 2 back-to-back elimination games. 4 guys who played a substantial amount of time in the minor leagues, and not because of a rehab injury. It's because they weren't good enough to be big leaguers, and half of their starting lineup. That's tough to swallow for fans.
Maybe things changes with the full year of Chase DeLauder, Bazana comes up. Like, you need to find offense. You know that. So those are 2 guys that are offensive-minded players, and maybe that changes things. I mean, they're gonna look. You tell me right now. The Guardians are their win total next year projection is gonna be like 79, and I'm gonna take the over, and they're gonna be in the thick of the AL Central, and we're gonna be talking the same old song and dance. If the offense changes at all, Chris, they're on the way up.
Reds made the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Got swept out quickly by the Dodgers. Here's Matt McClain.
We fought how we know how to. You got to get better. Going into next year, we got to the playoffs. That was one of our goals. We didn't reach one of our ultimate goals to continue playing, as long as World Series.
Yeah.
But you got to get better.
One word for you, kiddo: sunblock. You grew up in Southern California. Let's put a little on your face, or else you're going to be red in more ways than one. How excited should Cincinnati fans be?
I want to say really excited. I like the pitching a ton. Matt McClain, you got to be better, man.
He said that himself in that post-game interview.
Yeah,
he's got to.
And Ellie, he's got to make better swing decisions. Like, there's got to be a point where Ellie takes that jump where he's not just striking out every single at bat and just waving at pitches. Like, he has to make that jump. If this Reds team wants to make the jump as a team, Ellie has to make better swing decisions. And he's gotten enough at bats now where, like, it should be coming. And if you don't think it's coming naturally, you better work with this guy immensely in the offseason, spring training, to cut down some of those bad swing decisions.
Yeah, it also feels like they need another veteran presence in that lineup. I know they're all getting older and they're getting more and more at bats, and that's all good. I think we both thought, I don't want to speak for you, when they signed Jeimer Candelario, remember a couple of years ago to that $45 million deal, we were like, he was coming off such a good year. He got traded to the Cubs, and he looked, the whole bit, we're like, okay, maybe that's a good dude, switch hitter, good presence. Didn't work out at all. DFA'd him. I think they need
like who's a good fit there, like they reasonably they could attain. I don't.
Right. Well, that's the thing. They've got so much pitching. If you don't want to go dip into the free agent market, which, by the way, is not going to be
not great,
why don't you go make a trade?
But who fits that? Who was tradable for a starter that could really change things? I'm trying to think.
I think both Ohio teams have the ability to pull off trades because they've got an abundance of young, controllable pitching, and to go get some veteran bats in return. We have to sit down and kind of look and see if there's.
Imagine if they got Michael Busch from the Dodgers, like the way the Cubs did. I mean, that's a game changer.
Yeah, but that's not a guy who you're like. Well, I mean, Michael Busch was a guy who just couldn't get an opportunity.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
they make that trade instead of the Cubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Dodgers did that because they had to clear a couple of 40-man roster spots.
I know that. So we got to find someone like that for them.
All right, last team that was eliminated. We don't say hello, San Diego. We say goodbye, San Diego. Really interesting exchange between Manny Machado and a local TV guy, I believe, from San Diego named Jake. Listen to this.
I know it just ended, but how do you assess a season like this?
I mean, what type of question is that, dude? My guy. How do I assess the season? We just lost. How do you think I assess the season? How do you think I assess it?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
You tell me. What's a loss? We lost. How do you assess it? It's a loss. You lost.
Fair enough.
Come on, dude. I mean, you could ask better questions than that. Let's go. Come on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You gonna wait till the last second to ask that question? No better than that.
Well, in fairness, it might be the last time they can talk to Machado. And if that's the question, how do you I don't know. To me, the question isn't bad. I understand it being raw. Like, it sucks when you get asked that question 30 minutes or less than that after being eliminated and your season is over. But if that's the last opportunity you have to ask it, I think it's a fair question. I don't know.
If he didn't, I don't have a problem with how Manny answered it, except for the last part when he said, you got to ask better questions than that. Like, just leave it at, hey, man, he answered the question. It's a loss.
Right. I agree with you 100%.
If you just leave it at that, I feel like that's a true response to a question. It wasn't a great question. Come on, man. Like, that's a question for when you're at a press conference at a podium and there's that's not the time for that question. But he was a little disrespectful.
But when would the time be? Because if they go away, then when do you?
Yeah,
ask
I mean,
when do you ask it? I mean, it's not
I'm
like Manny's
not good at
hanging out
asking
of
questions. I did that for a little bit with the Twins. I stopped doing it because I'm just not good. But what does that guy want? The only answer to that question is.
So how would you answer the question? Let's start backwards.
The only answer to that question is, hey man, it's not great. We lost. We expect to win a World Series.
Right.
We didn't do enough, and that's it. That's the only answer. So he knows the answer. I don't like when reporters ask questions they already know the answer to.
I would agree with you in most counts, but here's the deal. San Diego was, in the Dodgers' opinion, the second best team in baseball a year ago. Now they don't even win a playoff series this year. So fans can sit here and assess how the Padres were. Padre fans are going to have an opinion. We didn't hit enough. It sucks that Laureano got hurt. The top three in the order went 4 for 33 in the series. That's not good enough. That's how we assess it.
Yeah, you think he's going to say that, though?
No. But I think that people would say, maybe Manny says, you know what? We were right there with the Dodgers all year, and in 3-game series, it's hard. It could have gone our way. I wish we had done more at the top of the order, but we didn't. Or he might say, yeah, you know what? We're going to be screwed if we don't re-sign a bunch of these guys, because
he's not going to say any of that.
We don't know that. We don't know unless you ask him the question. I don't know that.
Say any of that. He should have just said, yeah, it was a great season, man. It's awesome. Just really mess with the guy. I don't think it was a great question. I don't like the way Manny ended his answer. But again, yeah, I think I'm more on Manny's side than.
But by the way, then you can answer the question. I'm allowed to ask you, how do you assess their season?
It's a failure. It's a failure. I think that, yeah, they didn't hit enough. And I still believe I was into the Padres. I still think they have the roster to get to win a World Series. I truly do. I mean, they pushed the chips in at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
They made the moves they needed to make. They didn't hit enough is essentially what happened. So you have to kind of look at yourself in the mirror if you're the offense, but it's a failure.
Let me ask you this, because they're about to lose Cease and King, unless, King comes back on a prove-it deal or something. At least that's our guess. Would you flip Mason Miller?
Oh, gosh. I mean, you'd have to get no. I'd flip him into a starter, if anything.
Would you really? You would want to move him to a starter, huh?
I would not flip him. You gave up the number one prospect in your organization, who's he's like one of the top prospects in all of baseball.
I think he was maybe number 3 or something.
Yeah, you can't, unless you're getting, what are you going to get from Mason Miller? No one's going to give you a bona fide ace for him. That'd be the only thing that would be okay. Who's going to give him an ace? And not on a walk year, because I'm not doing that either.
On a walk year? What walk
I'm
year?
saying if an ace.
Oh, an ace. If an ace is on a walk year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just threw it out there. Well, we'll also see if AJ Preller sticks around.
He asked better questions, bro.
I think that was a fun question.
I want to start Manny Machadoing you.
Are you? That's great. Let's go for it. All right, Wild Card Series was a blast. 3 games go the distance. How many of these 5-game series are going 5?
I have no idea. I'm gonna Manny Machado that one.
Bullshit. That's a good question. Don't give me that one.
2.
Good. I'll take 2 game 5s. I think that the Blue Jays and Yankees are going 5.
Okay.
And I think the Dodgers and Phillies are going 5. And that's that. I think that's what we're going to look at. I know you got other work to get to, Thanks.
And you
for
got you have work. You're a chauffeur.
I am a chauffeur. That's right. All right. For our one-of-a-kind sleepyhead producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Monday here on Playoff Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew.